for me to build a house, I'm going to have to build it brick by brick and invest my money in it.
Yeah.
But then when it's built, I've got an asset that brings in a retained income revenue stream. So I see Instagram pages as exactly the same thing. I see websites as exactly the same thing.
Passive income.
As long as you know how to build it,
then
it's a passive income stream. So.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the CEOCAST. I'm your host, Raheem, and today you are joining me with Marlon Davids, the owner and runner of the page Business Sequence on Instagram, and we're here to talk to you all about how to grow your Instagram followers and get the engagement that you've been looking for. So, Marlon, I want to take it over to you. How you been keeping?
I'm good, man, and how are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you very much. So tell me, I suppose we should start this podcast off with, why did you start the Instagram page and what is the reason for it?
Yeah, so I started the page because I had historically, so I used to run an IT managed services business for 7 years.
Yeah.
Running that business was fun at the start, and then the fun stopped about, I would say, 4 years in, and it became very painful to run. And as an entrepreneur, and I was a business owner, and I had staff and a lot of stresses, I didn't really have anyone to talk to apart from my wife and my uncle. It was quite a small circle. Being an entrepreneur is alone.
Were they business savvy as well?
Sorry.
Were they?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, my wife, obviously, she just watches all the ventures that I get up to. And my uncle, he was there from the start, right? He had a shipping company, and my family's quite entrepreneurial.
Okay.
So it's quite easy for me. I always saw that growing up, right?
Yeah.
And so, but you don't want to bore people to death. So your friends and your family.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. You want to talk to people who got some sort of knowledge about it as well.
Yeah, and who don't mind listening.
Yeah.
Right? And have, it's a bit of give and take as well.
Of course.
So I just felt a bit isolated and lonely as a business owner at the time. So when I stopped running that business, for me, the lessons learned I wanted to pass on to other young entrepreneurs so they don't make the same mistakes I made. I made a hell of a lot of mistakes running that business.
Yeah.
And so Business Sequence kind of started when we went into lockdown, and I was thinking to myself, what can I do to kind of get this message out? And then overnight I just started a page. And
just a quick one, just to interrupt you there. When did you say you stopped the business then?
Okay, so I stopped running which was the name of my old company, in March last year.
March last year. Okay, fair enough.
March last year. So it's been about a year since I've been kind of not being Mr. CEO with all the stresses that brings.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that though.
No. So, I've been kind of trying to not overload myself with, new ventures.
Yeah.
And I've also, I've got the company who I kind of merged with, who helped me get out of that situation. I work for them and I'm still helping them to keep the customers happy.
Oh, fair enough.
So yeah, so it's been about a year since I've been kind of free. And so Business Sequence was born from, I want to help young entrepreneurs to succeed.
Yeah.
A bit like you, right? That getting that message across.
Yeah.
So the message behind it is find your calling, build a business around that calling, and then, use that business to change your life. That's the messaging that I've put behind Business Sequence as the page. And it's kind of started from there, and it's kind of just escalated through me just kind of networking. So, social media is a networking platform fundamentally.
Yeah.
But you don't realize how big a networking platform. I mean, there's 1 billion users there, right? So it's just crazy how many people like yourself, right? We met on Instagram.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And it's like just every time you connect with someone, a new avenue opens up, and then a new conversation happens. You might connect to other people, and then they hit it off and they start doing business.
Yeah, you know what it is? In my experience,
that's what I love
networking with someone, it never gets boring. Like, you can have 10 people message you, like everyone's networking, but it never gets to a point where you're thinking, all right, enough is enough. Because everyone's different, everyone's got their own story, different questions, and it's just interesting to engage with everyone, especially for someone like me who doesn't even know half the people I'm engaging with. I mean, like in person anyway. It's it's sick, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it. And you know what? A lot of people hit me on the DM straight away and say, hey, I want to start a business. Normally young guys. And And the first thing I say is, well, what type of business? I don't know. I'm like, well, you need to go and figure out what that is first.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know what kind of business you want to start, then best you don't start, right? And make sure that the business that you start is aligned with your passion and your personality. Don't just start something because you want to make money.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the first thing that I do. I sort of bat them away. And if they've got a really solid business idea, then I'm what I did start doing was kind of free mentoring, where I was just like, okay, show me the strategy, how you're going to monetize.
Yeah.
What's your plan for growth? But that quickly overloaded me. I don't have time to help everyone. But there's a few people who I am helping and I'm mentoring, just free of charge, because I want to kind of use them as a case study and a reference, right? That you can go from zero to hero in a reasonably short amount of time if you apply the right strategies to running and building a business.
So the mistakes you've learned, you essentially want to pass that on to other people and help them with the success.
Yep.
Yeah, no, so you can't even go wrong with that one. So is that what your Instagram page is all about?
It's all about that. It's all about that. So it's just about helping entrepreneurs to succeed.
Yeah, no, sick. And I suppose we should say, in the short space of time, we'll move on to this all shortly anyway in the podcast.
Yeah.
But in a short space of time, 8 weeks, I believe, is when you started your Instagram page.
Yeah, it feels like longer, but yeah, it's been about 8 weeks. Yeah,
8 weeks. And how many followers?
You told me that. I saw you post about it. I was like, wow, it's crazy.
It's crazy when you look at it in a third party perspective. But yeah. So in that space of time, how many followers have you accumulated?
8K, 8.2. I reckon we hit 8.5 today.
Yeah, no, so you're achieving 1,000 followers a day. Not a day, sorry.
No, so
you're achieving 1,000 followers a week.
Yeah. So it's roughly about 100, organically, 100 followers a day minimum, 100, 120.
Yeah, so organically, you've accumulated, like you said, about 100 followers a day. Something like that. Yeah. It's like momentum, right? So you build the momentum, and then it's almost like it's an algorithm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm a techie by trade, right? So I like to
figure these things out,
algorithms, and then try to learn how they work, and then try to not manipulate, but just play to the algorithm
to its advantage.
That's the key, really, to growth, I think.
Yeah, on any platform, because every platform has an algorithm.
Yeah, because every platform's got, I built my previous company based off of SEO, so just organic Google search, and I learned a lot about SEO, and I really became a marketer, even though I was a techie and a sales guy. I had to become a marketer, how many hats I was wearing, and because I learned so much about SEO, I think funny, when I started the business page, I actually tried to apply a lot of those strategies. I was like, hold on, this is really just a platform, a search platform with hashtags, and the bio has keyword density. And I started looking at it in detail, and I was like, hold on, let me try and figure out what's going on here. I started about 4 pages at once.
Oh, is it?
Testing. Yeah. I started about 4 pages. I had business sequence, millionaire sequence, property sequence, some other sequence. I was just testing the different sequences, right? And but the business page was the only one that I had passion for.
Okay.
So the thing with Instagram is about content, right? Consistent content. And if you haven't got passion for,
you're going to struggle with the content.
It's impossible to keep churning out good content that you believe in.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one, man. It's especially, that's why I always say to everyone, whoever asks me, what should I do in business? Like, start with your passion, because if you don't have a passion for it, down the line, you're most likely going to get fed up of it.
You will, and very quickly as well.
Yeah.
And it'll become like a lead weight around your neck. And that's the last thing you want, right?
Yeah. And do you know what I like about what you said to me on the phone? Because we've been speaking for like, I'd say a week now almost. And what you said to me was just quite like inspiring, the fact that you don't want to be like these Instagram gurus, shall I call it, where they say, yeah, join my platform, pay me this much a month and I'll help you get X amount of followers. You just want to share tips and tricks on how to get Instagram.
So firstly, I should have said, I am not an Instagram guru.
Yeah.
I have no plans to build an Instagram marketing agency or have how to grow your Instagram course, right? That's just never going to happen.
Yeah.
I just learned what I've learned through doing, and I'm just happy to share it. For me, it's like,
why is that though? Why isn't that you making a course going to be one of the routes that you go down?
It's not my passion. So firstly, Instagram to me is not a business.
Yeah.
It's a platform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could build a business audience on it, but it's not a business. What happens if Instagram change their algorithm overnight? What, you're going to lose your business? Or what happens if TikTok starts to become the main player in the room, and then the Instagram starts to fall fall to the wayside? Then you're going to have no business left.
Yeah, I suppose
So
you
your
can never
business
really
should not
be in control of that.
Yeah, for me, the business sits at a higher level.
Yeah.
And then you build your platforms around the business that funnel into it. So for me, all I'm doing is building an audience. Honestly, I have no idea if there's ever going to be a product to sell.
Yeah.
There probably will, because I'm a businessman. But for me, there's an audience building process that I'm going through, and I want to give value to the audience. That's the key for me. That's the main drive. And if you give value to your audience and build trust, if I do decide, hey, here's a t-shirt, of course they're going to buy it, right? Because they trust me, and they know that it's going to be something of quality, and something that I've built for them based on their feedback.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's your reputation on the line, isn't it?
Exactly.
So then with this, sorry, go on, Karen.
No, carry on.
So I was going to say, with this, like you're saying that you could build a business around it. What kind of business could you build around your sort of page? Because if you look at your page, you've got a lot of entrepreneurial facts there. You've got a lot of knowledge and people can take away from. So what sort of product or service could you offer to other people at a paid rate, obviously, that can build a business?
So I'll tell you what I've seen the other pages in the niche doing. So affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
Right. So I could literally just say, here's a course on, let's say, Facebook ads, right? If you're looking to build an online business, you're going to need Facebook ads.
Yeah, of course.
Here's a course on that, and I can make a commission. I could build a course on how to build your business course, for argument's sake, and offer it a price point. I could build a private Facebook group where you pay £20 a month to become a member, where we share insight on business growth and how to help you to succeed.
Yeah.
I could sell merch, t-shirts, hats, hoodies, based on, that's the actual thing that I probably will do, by the way. So not plug in, but I think that's something that just comes naturally, and is easy to bring in.
I mean, we were talking about this off camera just before the podcast, because I was wearing CEO. It's not out yet, but it will be soon.
I like it. You know what it is? I mocked up some examples. This is another beautiful thing about having an audience. I mocked up some examples and then shared them with the audience and said, would you buy it, yes or no?
Yeah.
And 87% said yes. So what do? You have to
feel that demand,
do it, right? But you got to have a good design first as well, right? There's a bit of taste that comes into it. It's not for everyone. Obviously, you got to have a Shopify store, and then you have to work out how to run an e-commerce business, which is not for everyone as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's loads. I mean, there's so many. And the thing with coming back to the monetization, you could have an affiliate marketing. If you were doing affiliate marketing, you could have 1 week you could be selling one product. Week 2 you could have
a different product. Yeah.
Say link in bio. Also, other pages will pay you to shout them out, right? And to share their products on your page, because they know your audience is engaged and of a certain, right, their motivation, they like motivation stuff.
Yeah, some pages have even charged like £200 or upwards just for a single shout out on a post or story.
Yeah. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
That's how it works. So, if you're looking to promote something or build an audience, using other pages in the niche is the key to kind of unlocking exposure.
Yeah. But would you say the algorithms are the same generally for all types of genres of pages? For example, you got our pages just like business, trying to help other people. Yeah. Then you see a lot of people, like for my mum, for example, she's got a page where she just shares travel experiences, cake baking, mum stuff. Would you say the algorithms are the same?
Niche. That's a hard niche, I would say. So it's difficult because I think every niche is different. And I do think the niche that I'm in is probably quite easy to grow if you are able to churn out content.
Yeah.
So in the mum niche, and my wife's she's in that niche, well, mum and fashion.
Yeah.
And I feel like the audience is smaller.
in that niche.
Because your norm, 100%. And it also, it's impossible to post 3 times a day, 4 times a day in that niche, right? You can post once or twice at a push. So the algorithm sees you as a quite, you're not putting out a lot of content here, guys.
It's funny you say that, because my mom always asks me, like, how many posts you put out, Raheem? I'm like, at least 3 a day. But then she's like to me, I can't do that. I physically can't do that.
Because you can't create the content.
Yeah. So I suppose it is completely different.
Impossible. Yeah, it's a completely different space.
Yeah.
So you have to approach the strategy differently, I think. So like our niche, right? So I would say put out 3 pieces of content a day at the same times every day. This is when I started to see things start to change. So consistent time for your audience, and almost like a TV show, it comes on at the same time every day consistently, and then mix and match your hashtag sets
7 days a week,
reflect that. Sorry,
7 days a week.
Yeah, every day without fail.
Okay.
I mean, it's a once you start, you can't stop.
So just an example, what's your times that you use?
So I'm posting 9:50.
Yep.
3 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
Why specifically 9:50?
It's just a time that it's like,
I mean, because that's 10 minutes before 10 o'clock. So, and the rest of them are
weird,
right?
I think because when I wasn't posting consistently, I think it was 9:50 was the last time when I decided, right, I'm going to set up a now strategy where I post at the same time every day.
Yeah.
And the last post the night before the morning before was 9:50. And it's just after you kind of get up and you've had your breakfast and all that. So I was posting manually.
Yeah.
So it was just a good time. It's like the first thing that I do in the morning. I just get the post done.
Yeah.
And then 3 o'clock was the audiences most alive, and then 6 o'clock as well. And sometimes I'll post at 9 as well. But at the moment I'm using a strategy called hero post strategy, where I have a hero post that goes at 3 o'clock, which is always a quote from a famous entrepreneur. But you can archive those posts after if you want to clean up your page, because I don't necessarily want the page to have that type of content.
Yeah.
And so I like to post at 9 o'clock as well. And I post like quotes, but I curate them myself. So I take the background image and then I put some, I spend a bit of time in Canva and then put the quote in and put the logo on. I really enjoy that part. So I like to keep those posts coming out. But to be honest, it's a bit hard to consistently do them. You got to do one a day every day. So I just throw them in there when I want to do something to add a bit more creativity to the page. I think those timings were just something I stuck to, and it's working. So why change it?
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Mess with it.
I can't argue with a guy who's got 1K a week. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But mate, listen, a lot of people in this niche are growing at that pace.
Yeah.
A lot of people are growing at that pace. And also, so full disclosure, I've done paid shout outs as well.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, you can go to pages in your niche and ask them for a paid shout out. Say, hey, I would actually just send them a DM and say, hey, any paid posts? And everyone says yes. And there's pages with a big audience, but you have to know what you're doing as well. So I started to build an audience that was not right for the page, if you like, because I was doing the shout outs on the wrong type of pages. They were like quote pages and they weren't quality audience. Whereas when I found like the more business related pages, we've got that kind of quality audience. Yeah, I would do like say $40 for a shout out, and they put you up on their feed for 24 hours, and that used to work really, really, really good. And then I thought, what I'll do, because this could get out of control, right? You'd be spending $40 a day if you're not careful. So I found another page where the guy had a network of pages, and I just paid him like I think it was $250 for like a bulk shout.
And what did that include?
He shared me on multiple pages over like 2 a week, over a period of time, which kind of boosts things. So if you see where I've gone from like 100, and then some nights you might see the page go from like 300 in a night, that's because a paid post has happened. But I curate the content, because you can't just give someone an image and say, do a paid post for me. I'm actually giving him 6 slides, like a carousel with a call to action. But I curate the content for the page that's being posted on. So if it's a finance page, I'll create
something to do with
infographics. I'll
finance.
give him infographics that to do with finance. And so make it, you know, you got to be a bit, it's not just as easy as, hey, pay me for a post. You got to say, pay me. Are you the right page?
Related to their audience as well.
Yeah, related to their audience. And if you match it right, you can just get a ton of followers through one page shout. And that works as well. But don't get carried away with it. And do it within budget. Give yourself a budget. Say, right, I'm going to start at 0 and I want to get to 10K. I'm prepared to invest, I don't know, £400 or.
What about paid promotions themselves from Facebook?
Forget that.
No?
Nah.
What would you say the difference is between that and, like, you know, what you're talking about, the promotions like that?
Yeah, I don't even, to be honest, a friend of mine done it. I think they show your content to more people, but that doesn't mean they're going to follow you back. It's a bit like a finger in the air, like, who knows?
Yeah, because don't get me wrong, I've done paid promos myself from Facebook ads, obviously, and the reach could be up to like 40,000 people. But then realistically, you're only getting, I'd say, 100 followers max out of that. So yes, people might be liking it. People might be following here and there. But realistically, from 40,000, I wouldn't say 1%. Because in fact, that's lower than 1% is good.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I mean, I'm not an authority on it, so I wouldn't be able to say, but I wouldn't recommend it. And obviously, if you start paying the platform to share your content, then there's a theory that they might reduce your reach because you're prepared to pay. So I'd be really careful of that.
That's a good way to put it.
There's also other strategies that I started investigating, right? So I had another page called Millionaire Sequence where I was posting just like millionaire quotes, you know, everyone wants to be a millionaire, right?
Yeah.
And you just post pictures of like half naked women and guys standing in front of cars with nice quotes on them, and you get there's a particular audience that love that stuff. And in that particular niche, I'd call that the quote niche, they use engagement groups.
Yeah.
Right.
Meaning?
So I don't know if you've done. So what an engagement group is, a platform where you would have, let's just say 20 other sites in the niche, and we're all paying into an engagement group. And then every time I comment on your page, you comment on my page, and then we all comment on each other's pages.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So early engagement is really key for Instagram. So if you put a post up and then everyone comments on it, and Instagram see that, the algorithm then starts to show that more and explore page. Yeah, and that's how you see this. Mate, listen, there's a ton of these sites, and they're using. There's a platform called PPN, which is an early engagement group, one of the popular ones, and Executive Mafia is the second one. And what they do is basically put you into a group. So you put your account in the group, and I tested it. So I just wanted to see what it was like. And then you put a post out, and then you go into like a Telegram platform. Yeah. And then you put your username in, and then it says, right, go and comment on all of these pages. And then it checks that you actually done it. It's quite clever, actually. I think they run out of Singapore or something. Executive Mafia, they're the biggest one, and PPN. And so you can get some really quick results. So when you see these pages and they've got like 350k users, followers, sorry, and they're just putting out quotes, right? There's no real value in a quote. I don't know. You might disagree, but
no, I probably agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's quality content. Yeah. So how the hell have you built like a massive audience? It's because they've been pumping the PPN and the Executive Mafia, and they've got put a post out, and they've got engagement groups firing, and they've got, you know, freelancer doing the engagement rounds. They're called rounds. Yeah. To get those posts more visibility, but they're also using viral content as well. So proven viral content, you'll see the same content going around, and that's how you get that massive audience. But to me, I don't feel like they're massively engaged. And so that's what I was gonna say, when I saw that, I don't feel like the audience is massively engaged, because a lot of the comments and likes and shares have been fake. And so I feel like when you build a massive page like that, your end result is not that much of you might have a big audience, but are they really truly engaged? I personally, I'm not sure. So I ditched that concept and focused on trying to do it organically. And also, full disclosure again, I got a mentor. So I found a guy online, and he had 64k, And I thought, and I was talking to him, and he was actually helping me with content at the time. And then he said, yeah, I can mentor you. It was $200 investment.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought, you know what? He's proven he said all the right stuff. And he said, listen, I don't do monthly, you just pay me $200 and I share all my knowledge with you. And I said, yeah, why not? But guess what? The guy was 17 years old. I didn't know until, he had a deep voice, right? He used to send me voice notes.
Yeah.
17 years old. And when I found that out, he sent me a message saying, oh, it's good to see the older generation. Because I told him, obviously I'm 39.
Yeah.
He said, it's good to see the older generation coming onto Instagram and learning about the theme pages. And I was just thinking, it's crazy because the youngsters know how to he's already unpicked these growth strategies, and he was the one sharing all this knowledge with me that I'm sharing with you now, right?
Yeah.
So I just saved you $200.
Yeah, no, exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
And stories as well. That was another thing that he shared with me.
Okay, yeah. So what is it with stories that engages followers and gets people to your account?
Yeah, I think with stories, from what I can see, is it just helps with the algorithm. So obviously if you're just posting 3 times a day and you're not commenting and you're, not using the stories to engage with your audience and share more insight, I personally feel like if you've got a lot of people following your stories, like that will help when you post. Personally, I think it just reassures Instagram and your followers, right, that you're a real account. And that you're a real person behind the scenes.
Is there anything with stories, like specifically, for example, videos or polls, questions? Is there anything in specific that helps it? All of it, yeah?
All of it.
Okay, so for someone who wants to go on Instagram, use everything that Instagram's got. Just
try to be creative. Try to be, and use all the new features. Listen, I struggle to stay on top of stories.
Yeah.
But I do make sure that there's always a red circle around the account to make sure I'm there and there's a real person running it. I do a lot of polls and questions. I love to ask the audience,
what's
questions.
Going on? Yeah.
What's going on? It's so interesting as well, especially when you look at your insights, you see your demographic, and then you can kind of tailor your stories and ask them loads and loads of questions.
Yeah, of course.
And then you can really give them more of what they want by using stories. And I think that's the best way to use it. And video content and IGTV is another good one, but I don't use it that much. But I will lean into it a lot more in the future, I suspect.
IGTV, I've always wanted to try it because I had a feeling that it would grow. Because obviously, especially if you go live with other people, because they get the notification as well on their account. But I don't know. For me, what it is, it's just confidence. It's just a confidence issue. Like, I don't know. It sounds mad.
So do you use YouTube, right, for your podcast content?
Yeah, I use YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Yeah, but I don't know. It's weird because with Instagram story live, it's live. I can edit this podcast, and I don't have.
No, but you can upload to IG. So the same video content that you put on YouTube.
Yeah,
you could put it on IGTV as well, right? There's nothing really stopping you from doing that.
Yeah.
And then if you think about it, let's just say you put up a hour podcast on IGTV, and I've actually thought about doing this because I'm going to launch a podcast as well.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a bit.
I think if you can keep the people on your page, your audience on your page for longer and drive traffic to your Instagram want to be YouTube, right? That's the whole reason why IGTV is there.
Yeah.
I think personally, if you can drive traffic to that IGTV, even if you're repurposing the same content, then there's nothing really wrong with that. But it's a personal preference. Depends on how much you want to grow your Instagram. But then you've got TikTok as well, so it's difficult, mate. There's so many platforms. It's almost like, where do you start? But I think
it must be working. Yeah.
YouTube.
It must be working because even when I follow a lot of pages. For example, even YouTubers, when I follow them on Instagram and you see the same video being posted on IGTV as the same one on YouTube, there must be a reason why they're doing that.
Yeah, 100%. But I think you're onto a winner, mate, with YouTube. I think that's where it's at for me. If you know how to be consistent with the YouTube content, that's another podcast where I'll be asking you loads of questions about YouTube.
No, to be fair, you just have to get the content loaded up in advance and make sure that you're ready for the next week. And it's just like Instagram. You got to make sure you're prepared for the next day. It's pretty much just like that. But YouTube, yeah, you can monetize it, but you have to wait a long time, as I spoke about in the recent video.
Seems like a long game. Yeah, it seems
It
like you have to play the
a long game, because even when you get monetized, don't forget it's all based on views, and the way it works out to be, I know US gets paid more than the UK people, and they get paid roughly.
How's that?
Just because I guess the size of the country and the amount of ads they can push to that place.
Oh, okay, but
So,
can't you post your content to a US audience?
you can, but with YouTube, it's not really filtered down into. You can't demographically target your videos, so it's just what people search for. Yeah, so that's why you just got to include the tags and all that stuff. So with that video that I put on how to make a YouTube video, it could be anyone in around the world searching that, they'll get the same video on their feed.
Oh right, so they don't just, because you know TikTok show you to
your local places
first.
Yeah,
so they only show you locally first, so that your exposure is restricted whilst they test the content, which I think is quite interesting, and but you can get around that with VPNs and stuff.
Yeah, no, of course. But the main thing is in America they get paid about, I think it's about around $7-8 per 1,000 views. So while you may be monetized after everything, if you're only getting 1,000 views per video, you're getting $8 per video. Obviously, as time things will go on, but it's a slow game, and that's why I made the video, because I want people to be prepared for that.
I'm too impatient, and also I struggle to create video content. I think that's why I leaned away from YouTube. You know what? When I started the page, I was actually meant to document the whole journey of going from 0 to 10K.
Yeah,
and all the strategies and techniques and capture it, but it's too much work, man.
Yeah, it is. No, but you know what?
I'm too late. I'm old. No, I'm lazy.
I'm using this platform, CEOCAST, as the same reason why you're using yours. So it may not be. Yeah. I don't see CEOCAST itself as a business. I don't see like, it doesn't bother me if I'm making money from these podcasts or Instagram, whatever. But what I can do is, like what you're saying, build your audience, grow a following to your personal brand, to that brand, and drive businesses through it. So if I come out tomorrow 100%. With a proper clothing line, not a merch company, a proper clothing line, and drive that straight through CEOCAST saying, sponsored by X clothing.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, to me though, right, the personal brand is the real game.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I've realized as well, which is why I had to put my Instagram on public, and even though it's not something I would normally do, do you know what I mean?
You have to.
Yeah.
But not everyone is confident at growing a personal brand. Yeah. Me being one of them. Like I'm not just gonna sit there and say, I mean, I'm confident. I'm lying actually. I love, getting up on talking. I love talking to people. I love being on camera. I enjoy it. But not everyone's like that. So sometimes the way I see it, why I started Business Sequences, you can hide behind the logo, right, and build an audience. Yeah. And then lean your personal brand into it at a later stage when you're ready.
Yeah, no, of course, 100%.
Probably what you're seeing right now, right? No one, Business Sequence audience don't even know who I am. Really. Yeah,
because your face isn't on there.
No, I don't even. Sometimes when I say I'm from sometimes people DM me and then we get chatting. I say I'm from the UK. They're like, they're really surprised. They think I'm in the US. They think I'm American.
I thought you were in the US. That's why I asked, where are you from? And you said UK, and I was like, what?
Yeah, it's weird. But I've tailored the content honestly around like hip hop culture in the US, and even the way everything's styled. I think I've tried to keep it in what I think is that audience would resonate with.
Yeah, 100%. Because you could see that you've, like, even for example, one of your posts, the background picture was Drake, and I think correct me if I'm wrong. Drake. I think you done one with Elon Musk as well.
Elon Musk, I mix it up. Yeah. But when I first started posting, I was, I'm a big Dame Dash fan. I love all of his. I just love the way he's straight talking when it comes to business, and there's no fluff. And I posted a few of his videos, and everyone kind of liked it, and I saw that was I kind of lent into that. And I also look at Gary Vee, right? So Gary Vee says the reason why he's been so successful is because he's cool. He says he's cool, right? And I would say he is, right? He grew up in New Jersey, and he's got that New York twang to him. Yeah, and he wears trainers. Whenever you ever seen him in a shirt, so he's who I look up to, if you like. Yeah, and I think he's done so well with his social platform, but that's only because he's cool, right? Because he's lent into hip hop culture.
Yeah, 100%.
There's not many entrepreneurs who really you know what? There's not many entrepreneurs who can actually do that and get away with it, who are successful. And if you can, I think you have to lean on that and try to, because what does that immediately do? It makes you connect with a younger demographic.
Makes you relate with them.
Makes you relate with them, and they're all coming up through the ranks, right?
Yeah.
The millennials are the real entrepreneurs of this generation, especially online, the ones who want to start an online business. And for me, I wanted to make sure that my audience was young and hungry. And that's what I've got, if I'm honest. I mean, every single person that connects and follows the page, first, another thing is what I do, which is a great growth technique, is whenever someone connects and follows, I DM them straight away, no matter what time.
What do you say?
I just say, hey, thanks for following the page. It really means a lot.
Simple, sweet.
So it's simple and sweet, but they say they like it, and then they say, no problem, or love your content.
Yeah.
And I say, what business are you building?
Just connect with them.
Just opens a conversation. So remember, I'm a corporate guy, right? I'm an IT salesman, and I used to live on LinkedIn, which was a platform I really dislike.
Even now.
So I just don't like what it's become. It just doesn't fit with me as a person. I find there's a lot of people pretending not to sell when they're really selling. I don't know. I shouldn't.
It seems like everyone's got a hidden agenda on that.
It's a hidden agenda. It's not real.
Yeah.
It's not real. People pretending, we're doing this challenge. It's all BS. I mean, you're doing it because you need sales, and you're on the platform to get. LinkedIn is a B2B sales platform. You do not go on there, in my opinion, to socialize and network. Some people do, but they're probably the generation of, they've been on LinkedIn and they used it to get jobs historically.
Yeah. And
they're not on Instagram, they don't get it. They might have a Facebook account, but they might get some value from the LinkedIn video audience. But everything they see on LinkedIn is them being sold to it, and they don't even realize it. And that's my opinion, but I'm allowed to have
everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So
yeah. And you know what? I polled the audience on the page day before yesterday, and 79% do not have a LinkedIn account. So that tells you a lot, right?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of young people don't have LinkedIn as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, I tried to get onto their platform. Firstly, I didn't really enjoy it because it's harder to make connections on LinkedIn. And also, it's just, if you look at it visually, it doesn't look like it's designed for younger people.
Yeah, they need some help with that. Yeah. You're right.
So
it might change. Remember Microsoft owns LinkedIn, yeah. And Microsoft is not exactly the most. What did Steve Jobs said they don't have taste.
Fair enough.
Even though I love Microsoft, by the way, I love Microsoft. They paid my, being a Microsoft engineer, paid my bills for years, and I love but they're not exactly the company of choice when it comes to taste, and that kind of comes through in LinkedIn, I think.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I feel like this podcast is going to get me shot.
Like I said, everyone is entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah, but where I was going with that, though, right, is that I treat. So when I was on LinkedIn, when people connect with me, I'd say, hey, thanks for connecting with me. Yeah. And then I would try to start selling to them through direct messaging. And I thought, if I try that same strategy on Instagram, I wonder how much engagement I would get. And it's 10 times more.
But then how does that increase engagement when technically it's a one-on-one conversation? No one else can really see it.
Yeah, I mean, when I say engagement, what I mean is the person who I'm talking to actually responds.
Okay, fair enough.
It's actually a real person. Whereas on LinkedIn, you could DM someone on LinkedIn and it would just be air.
Yeah.
You won't hear nothing back. Maybe one in 50 will respond to your direct message, right? And then, but I used to spend time. I've got Sales Navigator. I'm a LinkedIn guy. I used to try to find leads through being clever with my content through direct messaging, and it's a lot harder on LinkedIn, believe me. But I thought if you apply that same strategy to Instagram, because most people would say to you, Instagram and Facebook, most B2B would say there's no customers there. Our customers are not there.
Yeah,
but everyone's there. It's just how you approach them.
How you utilize a platform,
how you engage with them.
So what other growth strategies are there for Instagram? So I asked that because, like I said, I'm going to try and put this in my perspective, see how I can grow my Instagram, because
100%.
it's taken me 6 months to get to the place where I'm at. Not to say
and
I'm
that's
happy
how we
with
got here, right? Because you wanted to ask me, you said to me, how do I grow my page? And I was like, let's record it, because I feel like I want to share it with more people.
So how would I grow my page?
So I'm actually going to look at your page right now. Hope you don't mind. Yeah.
No, go on. Happily.
So
let me do the same thing on my phone while you're right.
Yeah. So the first thing you need to do is start to optimize your bio. Yeah. So look at your bio and make sure that it actually gives me all the information that I need if you want to capture me and capture my follow. Okay.
Yeah.
And I would say also make it something unique, something different, stand for something. Go through your highlights and make sure you've got highlights that talk about the same niche. So if you're talking about entrepreneurial, I would have some highlights that talking, says entrepreneurs, nuggets of gold. I don't know. I'm just giving you
just examples.
What I would do.
Yeah.
So the moment I see your page, you've only got 3 seconds to capture me.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also say you shouldn't have any link till you get to 10K.
Why is that?
No URL. Don't know. This is just what the experts say.
Yeah.
I toy with it because I feel like it depends. I think for your page, you're all right because you've just got a YouTube link there and you want people to drive back to your YouTube because that's where your money content is, right? That's where you put the most of your energy into for content.
Yeah, of course.
But I would argue that let's just hypothetically say that Instagram have an algorithm that if you have a YouTube link, because that is their direct competitor, they just knock you down a few points on explore page. You might want to think about that. Just something that this is the way I look at it. Right?
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
And just try to, but personally, your branding is really strong. That's why I connected with you in the first place. I just liked everything I saw.
Appreciate that.
And just try to make your bio sing. The next thing is be consistent with your content strategy. So let's just say you're putting out a video snippet, which I can see you do.
Yeah.
I would do that. Either every post looks the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or put out some, I saw you actually had a motivation, like a quote, Elon Musk rules for success. So you could put out one of those every morning at 9 o'clock. Yeah. Then the next post could be an infographic.
Yeah.
And then the next post could be your content that takes time. Yeah. And then you can put out 3 pieces of content then, and guess what? Your page will start to look quite structured.
Yeah. No, that's what I tried to do. So I tried to do a snippet, a post of like Elon Musk, for example, and then another snippet. So it would be the quotes or whatever it may be will be sandwiched in between the snippets, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And that's, you know what you're doing, but it's just keeping that consistent.
Yeah.
Right. The next thing is the hashtag. So when I post a quote, I would have a hashtag set for that quote. So every time I post a quote, I'd use the same hashtag set, but then I might swap out the first 4 hashtags saying Elon Musk success, Elon Musk goals, Tesla, right? Which will get you a lot more reach for that post.
Is there a problem? Just a quick one. Is there a problem with using the same hashtags over and over again? Because at first, when I started posting properly and all that stuff, got serious about it on Instagram, I kind of like researched the best hashtags in the sense of what's got the most following, what's got the most reach. And I just set 30 hashtags in my paragraph and just kept copying and pasting it on every single paragraph. No.
So Instagram see that as spam.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's too much. Too many. Firstly, you don't want 30, you want about 24.
Yeah.
And you want to rotate them. You want to have like a rotation, like a set of about 4 or 5 hashtag sets.
Yeah.
And rotate them. Doesn't matter if you use the same one every day, but not 3 times a day.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So have a hashtag set and rotate them out. But hashtags are hard because everyone's trying to compete. But I would just stick. These are my hashtag sets. I've done my research. Use the hashtag skyscraper strategy. I don't know if you've researched that.
No, just to give me a brief overview what that is, please.
Yeah. So the first, you might want to have 3 hashtags that are really competitive,
Yeah.
then 10 hashtags that are medium, yeah,
Mm.
and then 10 hashtags which are low competition.
But how do you know what
Right.
hashtags are which? As in
You got to
like
do research.
competitive and
You got to do research.
yeah, fair enough.
There's an application. Oh gosh, what's the one I used? Is it Flick? Yeah, Flick. And then I just got a demo account, and I've basically done all my research in the first 30 days.
Yeah,
and
because
never
it's
turned it
trial.
off. I'm tempted to put it back on again.
Yeah.
But I think once you get to about 5-6K, the hashtags are not that important anymore.
Yeah, because you kind of built a following in the first place.
You need to get some exposure first.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do need to keep your hashtag. But yeah, I'd recommend Flick. There's a few other applications for hashtag research, but there isn't really one that I think is perfect that I could, does everything for the right price point. So yeah, mix up your hashtag sets.
And just a quick one with hashtags. Is there a problem? So let's just say, for example, if you're still on my Instagram, let's just say the last post I put up was an hour ago and there's no hashtags in that. Now, is there a problem with me going back to that post and putting a hashtag in the comment section?
Good question. If you ask me, I'd say no. Some people would say yes. Once you've posted, you should leave it because it's all about early engagement, right? So you've kind of missed that window of opportunity.
Fair enough, yeah.
But I personally, it would bug me too much if I didn't have any hashtags. But here's another thing. So sometimes I don't actually post any hashtag at all, just for testing.
Yeah.
And you still get reach. You still get engagement. One of my posts just went crazy and they had no hashtags. So I don't know what Instagram's up to, but I do think it's about, not overdoing it.
Yeah.
And trying to, keep some rotation in it.
Yeah, no, that's a weird one you say that because there's posts that I've put hashtags and they've got, okay, let's just say I post mainly videos, so views. So it will, like, for example, I'll give you a great example right now. So 3 days ago, I posted a video, it had no hashtags again. That one got 110 views. This is if you're still on the page, this is make them aware you are the best.
Yep.
That one got 110, and another one above it, the one of this YouTube snippet episode, no hashtags again, but that one got 180 views. So how does Instagram decide what to push out if there's no hashtags?
It might just be based on your page, but remember your views is different from likes and comments.
Yeah.
And I do think video, because the Instagram want to be YouTube, I do think video gets weighted in favor.
Yeah.
So necessarily you might not even need any hashtags and put out video content. I find you get a lot of eyes on your video content anyway.
Yeah.
And I think they're also got to be worried about TikTok. Trust me, you put these videos on TikTok, you get so many eyes on it really, really quickly. And I think video content performs completely differently. To be honest, I stopped posting video content because I just didn't get what was going on. I was getting a lot of views, but it wasn't resulting in followers and likes. So that's why you have to put out, I believe, more static visual content. Remember, Instagram is a visual platform.
Yeah.
Firstly, right? It was built for photographers.
Yeah.
And I think that part of the algorithm actually does an analysis of that image and then matches it with the hashtag sets and presents it to an audience. So I do think you have to probably, I don't want to sort of give any misadvice on video content because I haven't done enough of it to really know the best way to do it. But if I was you, I wouldn't just post video content. I'd post static images as well to help to get more followers and more engagement.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it makes
and almost
sense.
See the video content as like your gold. So I can put out more content. Static images are going to be a lot easier for you. And then land us with a video, once a day at 6 o'clock. Then I'm going to be expecting, I'm going to be excited for it. And I'm going to know that that's where you've put the work in
for that video.
I think that will, that will naturally just get you a bigger, more engaged audience.
Yeah. Yeah, no, fair enough. That's some great tips for everyone, including myself mainly. So glad you could all take some from the stuff that didn't make any sense. But anyway.
Sorry, man, I can go on for hours. Apologies.
No, so what else? In my case, what else should I do? Not to be selfish with it, but
Yeah. So are you doing so at the moment you've got 864 followers and you're following 464, right?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you haven't done any follow for follow.
No. Everyone I
You
follow
need
is
to.
someone that I know or that I've connected with, and yeah, pretty much like that.
No. So is there a page that you look up to in your niche?
The thing is, no, not really, because like I said, I created this Instagram page just to use as snippets for the main podcast because YouTube was the main thing, or Spotify, Apple
Okay.
Podcasts, wherever you're listening to this on.
All right.
That was the main thing.
Well, what I would do, so just finishing off on your bio, just the highlights images.
Yeah.
Just get an image for each of those that represents what it is,
Okay. Yeah.
and have a few more highlights. Think of some different highlight sections so that it just looks more uniform. And then I think that's it for the look and feel of your page. I think you've done a good job as it is. Then I would just dive in from today, start doing follow for follow. So I'd find the top 5 pages in the niche that I've got big audience who I like, who they could be entrepreneurs, right? You could go on Gary V's page, Grant Cardone, I don't know. And then whenever they post, turn on notifications. So every time they post, and then go onto that post, and you know that the people that have liked that post are your target demographic.
Yeah.
And then follow all the people that like that latest post.
Fair enough.
So click on it, look at the likes, and it will just give you a list of everyone that liked it, and then follow them. Do about 100 a day or 200, but careful of action block. So I'll say maybe 120 a day, and just do follow. And this is called follow for follow. Once you start following, don't unfollow anyone until you're in what I call an unfollow sequence. So just do the following, and I would probably follow until you get up to about 2K. Use follow for follow until you get to 2K.
Yeah.
And then once you get to 2K, 2.5K, I would say your organic reach is going to be a lot better. And then you can start unfollowing all those accounts that didn't follow you back. And there's an Instagram app called Cleaner that I use that I used this strategy, right, for the first, I was a bit impatient. I probably used it for about the first 1,000 followers.
Yeah.
And then I started doing other techniques. But yeah, I would do that to grow your page quicker. And then once you get up to 2K, I'll probably start reaching out some pages and say, share my content. Let me do some paid posts if you're prepared to invest.
Yeah, no, like I said, investing in the page is, like I said, I've already done a few Instagram promotions through Facebook before. Yeah. So it's not really a big deal to approach other pages and get investment from them, but invest into them.
But all right, so when you approach other pages, first thing you say is, can you share your audience insights?
Yeah.
And you need a screenshot. Be careful, because a lot of them manipulate the audience insights. And they might have a massive Indian follower base, which you might not personally want.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure if you're going after the UK sector, that they've got a large UK demographic. And just, you can use Photoshop, right? So you'll be able to see the telltale signs of someone who's manipulated the image. So be careful of that. And then negotiate with them on the price, right? Try and get a shout out for cheap.
Yeah.
Most people have built these pages and they're not necessarily monetizing or didn't have a monetization strategy. So if you're prepared to give them $40 to bite your arm off, and don't go for pages that have got too much of a big audience, like 1 million plus.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the followers are going to be nonsense, and you want to find a sweet spot of about 600K, 500K, I would say,
where everyone's into that niche.
Also pages in your niche.
Yeah.
Friends, and then the other strategy is called share for share, right? So we call it S4S. So you share my page, I share yours in stories. And most people are open to that, especially if you've got the same follower base.
Yeah.
So if there's another account that's got 860 followers, 800 or 1,000 followers, they're not going to mind sharing your post on their stories, and then you do the same, and have a template. So the message that they share says, for CEO Talk, for the #1 CEO Talk podcast, if you want to get some insight into how to grow your business, follow CEOCAST.
Yeah.
Link.
Have you got an example of that by any chance?
I can send you one.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll put it overlay.
Yeah. I've got one that I use that I copied off someone else.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I'll ask you for that if you don't mind.
Yeah. So it's a share for share, follow for follow, and paid posts.
Yeah. No, fair enough. So I wanted to ask you about the last question, and I think we may have covered it in the beginning slightly, but someone did ask it, and that is,
Yeah.
I have to shout him out actually, Tax Bros. That is, how can you and will you monetize your Instagram platform?
I mean, I will eventually. Honestly, I don't know how yet. Well, I don't know. I do know how, but I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm not really in a position to start doing that right now. I'm not sitting there going, this, and this is my main revenue stream. So I need it to make money. But I think if I would probably be focused on building something of value. It could be a course.
Yeah.
It could be, I don't know, like a group, right? Where, or even Patreon. Someone was telling me about Patreon the other day. Just something where the audience can pay a fee and get more value.
Fair enough.
I feel like that would be the best strategy, and it's not like I'm trying to sell you. You've got to think about your market as well.
I think the way I might thinking about it, the way I might monetize it in the future is naturally from what I'd want to do anyway. For example, live events, and obviously sell the tickets through Instagram, and then do merch like this maybe, or do something along them lines that brings. The thing is, I don't want to become one of them Instagram pages where they sell something that's got no relevance to the actual page itself. So if I was to sell something, I want it to be relevant to what I want to inspire people to do, which is build businesses, obviously. So it's got to be something like that. But there's a page.
Remember, the other thing is you could just sell the page. That's what there's a lot of people Instagram flipping right now, right? You can just build up an audience and then sell the page.
Do you agree with that? Because the way I look at it is like, let's just say they built up a page on gaming, for example, and they got, I don't know, 20k followers, and then you buy the page and you're putting out entrepreneur content.
Oh no, it has to be, you have to stick with what's there, right?
Yeah.
So you'd only buy a gaming page if you was then gonna have a one page, a one product Shopify selling a headset.
Yeah,
right?
games, something like that.
And then you just share a story and a link in your feed, say link in bio to buy this super headset.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way it works. And then you can start selling tech products to them and stick with the niche. Yeah. I mean, you can't start flipping it and they'll just unfollow. Start sharing the wrong stuff.
I want to ask you one thing.
There's loads of ways.
One more thing I want to ask, and it's just a problem that I've had with my Instagram. I don't know what it is. There might be a certain rule or something like that. Why can I not? Because you know how you get them Instagram stories where you can swipe up for the link. Why is it that I can't do that? Because when I want to put Instagram, when I'm promoting the podcast that I've put out, for example, that this one is going to go out on Sunday, I'd love to put it in my story and have the link where people could just swipe up.
Mate, it's not going to happen till you get to 10k.
Oh, is that how it works? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I've got longer to go. So,
but there's a hack.
There's
a hack. IGTV. There's an IGTV.
Yeah, you can have an IGTV link. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can use IGTV and get that kind of swipe up in your stories.
Yeah, I've seen that option there. Yeah, but with the other links,
I think that's clever.
Yeah,
because they want more people. To me, that just shows you that Instagram want you to be sending people to IGTV.
Yeah, fair enough.
So they let you do that. And but till you get 10k is swipe up.
Do you know what I might do? What do you think about me uploading going in order, obviously, from the first podcast to this podcast, slowly releasing like on a Friday or something on Instagram?
Yeah, 100%.
Even if they're over 45 minutes long, do you think it's worth it?
I mean, so it's funny you say that because this is the same thing I'm toying with for the podcast I'm doing. But the podcast I'm doing is not going to be video. It's going to be more audio based.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, to be honest. But if it was video, I think 100% I'll be doing it on IGTV.
Yeah.
Yeah. And YouTube. Problem is the captions. It's a lot of work to caption an hour of podcast. I don't know, you might disagree.
What do you mean?
Because if I was going to put it on IGTV, I'd want every single word to have a caption because people could be sitting on a train and they might not necessarily be able to listen. So I personally think you should have visual captions on the whole thing if it's a podcast.
It's funny you say that because when I started integrating visual captions, started to get a lot more views and a lot more traction to the videos itself.
Yeah.
And I thought it was such a minor thing. I just did it because I thought, why not? I didn't look anything into it. but it worked out.
I think it's powerful because, you know, I've been on a train where I haven't got my earphones and I'm just looking at the podcast, and if there's visual captions there, or I'm watching a video, and if there's visual captions, you're going to get my eyes on it.
Yeah.
So I'm just reading along, and then when I get home, I might put my earphones in and then listen to it properly.
Yeah, no, fair
you can still consume the content, you know, with visual. But doing an hour of captions, I don't know what you use, but I know that's a lot of work.
I'll just use Premiere Pro.
Yeah, exactly. But you
do
have
word by
to
word.
literally, there's a website called Rev where they'll do your captions for you for quite cheap.
Yeah.
But it's still like about 50 quid for an hour.
Yeah. No, do you know what? To be fair, I'm a one-man band with this right now. The only place my money's going to go investment is either growth or equipment such as cameras, microphones, stuff like that.
It can get expensive as well if you start buying everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But growth is key because so for me, you know, I see building an Instagram page, the way I looked at it, and people might disagree, but I don't care, is it's a digital asset. So it's an asset. It's like a house. And for me to build a house, I'm going to have to build it brick by brick and invest my money in it.
Yeah.
But then when it's built, I've got an asset that brings in a retained income revenue stream. So I see Instagram pages as exactly the same thing. I see websites as exactly the same thing.
Passive income.
As long as you know how to build it,
then
it's a passive income stream. So who cares if I spend £1,000 on paid posts, or if I spend £500 building a WordPress site that gets people into my funnel?
Yeah,
I don't care because I'm building, you know, a digital asset that can pay me over and over again. You know, like a house will, like a rent, right? Every time you land on it and you put your email address in and then you buy my $20 product, I get a nice income stream. So you've got to see you don't be scared. I would say anyone listening to this, don't be scared to invest in your growth.
That's a powerful way to put it.
Yeah.
No, fair enough. I hope everyone's learned something from that podcast. I know I definitely have, and I hope to see you all striving to push your Instagram growth, your personal growth, YouTube, whatever it may be. If you have any questions, contact me, contact Marlon on Instagram, obviously. And we'll get back to you 100%. But other than that, is there anything else you want to say for the podcast?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, anyone that's listening, please follow business_sequence.
Yep.
On Instagram. I'm also launching a podcast at the Sequence Pod.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, more of the same of what you're getting here. Interviewing entrepreneurs about their trials and tribulations of running and growing a business. And also, if you want to see my personal page, free plugs there. But, you know, if anyone wants to know more about me, what I'm doing, please feel free to connect.
Yeah, no, there you go. Like I said, everyone's Instagram's links can be here right now. Business Sequence, Marlon's personal page. Follow CEOCAST. Follow my personal page, which is Raheem KA. If you're listening to this on Apple Music or Spotify, make sure you follow and leave a review on there. And with that being said, catch you in the next one.